Well, hi again. Welcome to my humble abode. This is my study where I spend some of my time. I do a lot of teaching, and so this is the place where the magic happens. And so welcome into my study. It's good to have you along in this class. This marks I've lost track of the number of times I've taught this class. I think this is probably course number 11 for me of HUM499 over the many years that I've been doing this. I will tell you this, that each time I read the books, I get something different that I didn't get the first time. The books that we have in this particular course are ones that you want to read repeatedly. Frankel's book that we start with, in week one, you do the preface and chapter one, I believe, if memory serves. And so that's what we begin with, and then we move on to Dupree, and then on to Covey. Let me tell you at the outset, keep up with your reading and do your reading at the beginning of the week. That becomes crucial because you need time to marinate in the material and to synthesize it, let it get down inside of you. Some concepts can be a little difficult to wrap your mind around at first, and so you need a little bit of extra time. Other issues that we'll deal with require some change in thought, or I call this course transformative, because many of my students have expressed that to me, that they didn't quite understand what the course was doing till about halfway through. Things started to click, and it's like, oh, I'm so glad I took this course. It really made a difference in my life. And I've seen that happen repeatedly, and I suspect that it will happen again with some of you. So a few tips for success: do your reading early. Give yourself time to marinate in the material. Also, especially with Frankel's book, he deals with some sensitive topics that can be tough to read, so give yourself some extra time. When you are working through your reading, if you're using an e-reader like I am, keep a tablet close by to make your notations. You won't necessarily remember that great thought that you had as you were reading one of these authors. So you want to jot it down so you can go back to it. Also, jot down page and paragraph number, something like that, some type of indication as to where you got the material, so that if you need to cite it, you've got the citation there and you don't have to go back frantically searching for it, trying to bring that back up. It'll save you some aggravation and consternation. So yeah, keep track of your notes. They will help you both on your discussion board posts and your reflection papers. Do engage the reflection papers thoughtfully and with outside sources. I'm surprised I have to mention this as many times as I do, but for some reason, people don't take me seriously on this. These are academic papers. They are personal reflections, but they are reflections upon what you have read, and I expect that you will engage thoughtfully the text and engage other sources besides Wikipedia. More about that in a minute. But I expect you to thoughtfully engage those sources and external sources. Now, I mentioned Wikipedia, and it is not an approved source for scholarly information. However, if you have a topic that you're searching, if you look at Wikipedia and you go to the end and the credits where people cite their sources, you can get a number of good sources from there, and then go back in your e-reader or the Dietz library and look up those sources, and it will make you look like an academic rock star. So engage those sources, and if you have any questions about what's scholarly and what isn't, you can ask me or get with our writing center. We have a great writing center at Southwestern College, and they're great people, that work in the Writing Center, exceptionally talented and can help you greatly. Engage your syllabus. At the end of your syllabus, you will discover that there is a handy chart that lists each unit, and the units correspond to weeks. Those two terms you'll catch me using interchangeably. Weeks and units mean the same thing. But look at that chart, and it will give you what work is due at what point. And especially when we get into, I think it's week 5 or week 6, I don't remember. There's 2 major papers due, I think, in week 6. Don't wait till week 6 to do both papers. Start work on those early. Start jotting down those ideas that you have. And I require APA formatting on everything you submit. That's to your benefit. In your personal reflection papers, when you do those, I expect you to engage scholarly sources. So the sources that you have in paper 1 are going to be different from the sources you have in paper 2. That is also by design. So when you get to unit 5 or unit 6, where you're starting to pull all of these thoughts together, you've got those personal reflection papers where you've done the work on the front end, and you'll be able to pull that information from those personal reflection papers. And instead of having 8 pages of research to do, you may have 2 or 3, because most of your research is already done in your reflection papers. Now it's pulling the information together and writing the paper, wordsmithing it, editing, things like that. Give yourself time for the writing process. Give yourself time for the reading process. You'll find that you do a lot better in the course and you get a lot more out of it. I think that's it for now. I'm going to try to keep this short, but I did want to cover a few things to help get you started off on the right foot. Let me know if you need anything. I can be reached, as always, by email at samuel.o'donnell@sccans.edu. My cell phone number, 701-740-4955. Don't worry about not writing that down. It's in your syllabus. Reach out if you need me, and don't be surprised if you get a phone call from me. Do make sure that your contact information is up to date in self-service, because I will use that information to reach out. And if I reach out to you, please do answer the phone. If you see my number on the screen, please program that into your phone with my name so that you know that it's me calling you and not some telemarketer. Because I have been known, if I find a particularly salient point in a paper or something that I really like, I will often call and talk to the person that wrote it. And I'm one of the few instructors, I'm told, that calls students. Also, if you get into a text exchange with me, by about the 2nd or 3rd text, expect a phone call. So I do text, but if it's a long conversation, I prefer to have that by phone or by Zoom. I just think it's more personal that way. So in any case, that's it for now. And I look forward to the learning that is ahead. I will sign off and get this posted. Take good care.